Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Russ. Russ is from England in the UK. So let's see what Russ has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Russ. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this evening for the interview. Thank you.
Not a problem. It's not something I've done too often, so excited to see how it goes.
Amazing. So, tell me, how was your day today?
Day's been fantastic. I've just recently returned from 2 weeks in Canada with my family. So this week's kind of been a bit of resetting after the jet lag and
Wow.
just getting back into a bit of normal routine. But yeah, day's been very well, thank you.
Where's about in Canada you're visiting?
We went over to Calgary. So my wife is Canadian, so she's got a family over there. So we try to go back every 2 years and just go see family and go see the Rocky Mountains. And yeah, so it's a good time.
That's amazing. So, tell me, what was the highlight of your trip to Canada?
Oh, good question. Okay, so does it have to be just one or could be a few?
The top one that came
Top
straight away.
one, right? Okay. So clearly seeing family and friends, that's always a bonus. It's family we don't get to see for every 2 years. Certainly for my wife, she has no family in the UK, so it's nice for her to go back and see her be happy. But I'd say in addition for me, the Rocky Mountains are stunning. I'd recommend getting over to see it for anyone.
Is interesting because my best friend, he's French, but he lives in Canada, and I go every year as well. And he lives in Montreal, the other side. He lives in the French side. So
Yeah.
I go every year, and I totally agree with you. I think the nature in Canada is just the best. I remember the very first time when I went camping there, I felt like, those documentaries on National Geographic Channel. I was like, oh my God, I feel like, one of those.
Yeah.
It's amazing the nature. I think the Canadians, they explore a lot their nature. I think it's a great place to be for sure.
Yeah, I was just saying how we try to go back every 2 years, and there's still a lot more to see. So hopefully, over those remaining years, we get to go back and visit. We'll get to see more and more every time.
Amazing. Okay, Russ, so let's start the interview talking about your career as a sport person. I was watching some of your videos, some of your pictures, weightlifting. And so walk me through a little bit more about your career, how everything started.
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually in the armed forces in the army. I've been in 14 years this October. I originally started off in the infantry in the 1st Battalion, the Royal Irish, where I was a part of fire support group. I spent 8 years with them, and I had the opportunity to become a physical training leader, where I was able to train the soldiers to remain fit, and I kind of took up a keen interest just in general fitness. Progressing on from that, I joined the Royal Army Physical Training Corps, and from there got into CrossFit, and then weightlifting developed from there, and that was about 5 years ago. I didn't really have much expectations, starting the sport quite late at the age of 30. But I just started it for the love of the sport, and I had a couple of friends and coaches that said I was quite good at it. So I kind of just pursued and started the journey from there. And yeah, just it's developed to something I'm not bad at, and continue to grow.
That's amazing. I think those opportunities in life just come along and suddenly just embrace it and just go for it. And that's how things develop. That's what I like the most about those opportunities. Amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So you are, just for me to understand, so you are in the army, but you are literally just helping the fitness side.
Yeah, so I was an infantry for 8 years, as I mentioned, and my roles and responsibilities are to train, develop soldiers' physical fitness and mental robustness in order to prepare them for deployments.
That's amazing. And how many people you train during your time there? Is a lot of guys?
Oh, a lot, about thousands and thousands. So I actually worked at one of our training regiments. I worked there for 3 years, so I got the opportunity to train the new recruits coming through into joining the army. And I currently serve at a regiment that holds around about 600 personnel. And I'm in charge of all the responsibilities that I mentioned.
Amazing. Very good. Okay, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Yeah, great. Can't wait.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's go.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box.
Ah, great.
I have here my best friend. Of wonderful questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question, okay?
Yeah, man. Let's go. Yeah, that's crazy. I want to know what that sound is.
Right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, you don't want to talk about, always can change, okay?
Let's go for it.
Amazing. Right, first question is, what are the top 3 things on your bucket list?
Oh, okay. Drive a sports car around a track without any limitations. Yeah, that's always been something I've been intrigued to doing and not had the opportunity. So certainly, yeah, drive a fast car around a track. Travel a bit more.
Okay.
Travel a bit more. Certainly something I wanted to do. I've obviously been quite tired with being in the military over a certain amount of years, and now I've got a bit more flexibility with life. I can do a bit more traveling, so that's definitely there. Okay, can't think of the third one. No, I've got 2. I've got 2 for now. Maybe let me have a little think, and I'll get back to you with the third one.
So between those 2, which one's going to happen first, do you think?
Ooh, the traveling, purely because we're starting to do a lot more of it now.
I see. Any specific... Okay, let's put another question based on this. If you could go anywhere in the world right this moment, where would you go and why?
Ooh, very good question. I'd like to visit Bali or Thailand, that kind of area of the world. I've just had some friends come back from there and they said they had a fantastic experience. And I think Thailand, you know, there's so much to do, so much to see, and I think there's a lot of good memories that can be made there. So yeah, me and my wife are certainly planning a lot more trips over the next few years.
Amazing. Yeah, I've never been to Asia actually, and I have some friends as well who's been to Thailand, to Bali as well. And it's such, you know, just looking at the videos, sometimes documentaries about, it's just a beautiful place for you to explore, isn't it? And I think it's a place that I think at least once in our lives we need to do it for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just it's a long travel from the UK, as you know, but
yeah.
I'm sure we'll find the time. If we can get to Canada, we should be able to get to Asia.
For sure. Yeah. Next question.
You've got to send me this tune afterwards, by the way. I feel as if I need to dance to it as well.
You can always join me. Okay, next question is, what's the best gift ever received?
It's not so much a gift, but a token of what my hard work has been over the last 5 years. And the answer to that is my silver medal that I just earned at the British Senior Champs a couple of weeks ago. Although it wasn't a gift, I suppose it was a gift of, here's a gift, you've done well. But yeah, to have that sense of accomplishment after all the hard work and barriers that I've had in the way, that certainly felt like a gift of achievement.
So tell me, since the moment when you start training for it until the end, walk me through a little bit about the journey since you got the silver medal.
Yeah, so I chose last year, around about September time, to change weight categories. So weightlifting's a weight categorized sport. I used to weigh or compete at the 73 kilo category. To become a bit more competitive, I decided to drop to the 67 kilo category, and where I was a bit more competitive, and I started to win a few more medals, which was fantastic.
Wow.
The World Weightlifting Federation decided then they were going to change the weight categories, and where the 67 kilo category became 65. So I had to drop another 2 kilos, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't sound like a lot, but bearing in mind I'd already dropped from 73 kilos, another 2 kilos on top was quite drastic. So you can imagine the physical aspect of that, the mental aspect of that, the challenges that can bring through weight cut. I was more prone to injuries. I then started getting injuries, which create a lot of uncertainty if I was even able going to lift. And all the hard work that I had done leading up to that would have been for nothing. And again, so that affected the mental factors as well. So the fact I was able to get to that stage and walk away with a silver medal, you can only imagine the overwhelming of emotion of how much all that hard work paid off for. And I can hang that on my wall soon to be in a nice canvas.
It's funny because you explained that. I start to get goosebumps now, feeling the energy, the emotions around. For sure, for you, being through that, it wasn't easy, but to get that level, it's something that you always gonna remember. I totally agree. It's a gift that you work hard for it, and it just came through in the end. It paid off for sure.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, I've got two step children. Eva is 10 and James is 8. And I kind of just want to prove something to them a little bit, that no matter what challenges come before you, there's always a way to overcome it, and there's always a sense of achievement at the end. So I thought I've got a bit of a thing to work towards as well.
Amazing. Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Yes. Before the next question, tell me something. So, of course, working fitness, it's something that's part of your life. It's been part for a few years now. Tell me, what's the biggest joy for you of working, just not the competition that you do, but also, training people involved in the fitness industry. What's the biggest joy of it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging about it?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to when I was at Purbright, which is a phase 1 training establishment. So, all these young guys and girls, 18 all the way through up to, mid-20s, you don't know kind of what walk of life these individuals come from. They turn up and they don't really know what to expect either. So when I used to take the physical training for them, I used one standout recruit that I'll never forget. He turned up with 2 left boots on, and he didn't realise he had two left boots on. So you can imagine he was quite embarrassed. But I took a liking to him straight away because he did kind of find it quite funny. I did inside. But I kind of used him as a little bit of a project, and we had them for 14 weeks. And to see that young 18-year-old at the end of that 14 weeks turn from an 18-year-old to a man, the sense of achievement there wasn't for myself, but just for everyone. Everyone could see the changes that he had made and the hard work that he had put in, and it all paid off, and that gave me a sense of achievement.
Wow.
And I suppose to the second question, the challenges is, I say I try and balance too many plates at one time. I try to be quite proactive for things. I don't really, what's the way of explaining it? I think, challenges, I'd say, just general life. Lots of things come up. It's just learning how to prioritize what's more important, what's not, and kind of putting that in an order where you're going to get the best results.
And fitness always been part of your life?
It never was, no. I'd say probably from the age of 20 when I joined the military, that's when it became a bit more pertinent.
Okay, I see. And do you think that's the passion, the journey in fitness, it came through that opportunity in your life when you started in the army? That's how things kind of was introduced to you?
Yeah, definitely. I come from a very small family. It was just me and mum growing up, and I soon found out that when I joined the military, I like things very regimented and routined. And I kind of worked best with that. And, being in the military, fitness was a huge part of that. I soon found out that if you're fit in the military, everything else becomes easy. Right. So I think I kind of just drew towards becoming naturally getting fit, not just being told to do it, but I started to do it in my own time. And then it just become a part of my routine, my discipline, and I kind of just developed from that, I guess.
Amazing. Very good. Next question is, which question you don't have an answer for?
Cool. What's the question I don't have an answer for? How can you answer that? What an odd question. where I'm going to be in kind of 20 years. I've got
Good question. Good answer.
I set myself goals, I set myself targets. We've got aspirations, we've got dreams, but truly, try to make these to come to fruition. But there's always going to be barriers and boundaries in the way that's going to prevent this. So although in 20 years you might think you'd be in that position, life might throw something completely in your way, and you might never get to where you thought you might be.
Totally get your point. And also sometimes life throws something for you that you find a different journey that you never thought about, that you follow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Think that, what's the meaning of life for you?
Meaning of life, create happiness and have a purpose. I think you should try to have a purpose and create a goal. Otherwise, what are you kind of being alive for? You need something to work towards, and that will keep you on track. I think the second that you don't do that, things can spiral and things can completely go out of control. And I think just enjoy it. Make out the most of what you've got. We kind of already alluded to it that life throws things at you that you might not expect, but try to make the best with what you've got. And just enjoy the time that you've got with family and friends.
Tell me a life lesson that life has taught you that you feel very grateful for.
Health. I've had friends unfortunately take their lives. I know other people that have taken their lives, not only in a military sense, in a sense of people outside of the military. I think mental health is it's a huge thing, and I don't think enough people talk about it.
Totally.
Yeah, and I definitely think that if there's one thing I'm starting to learn now is just be a bit more open-minded and be open for people to talk to you, but for me to speak out to people as well with any things that are going on. I'm quite a stubborn individual. I think quite a lot of men are. But yeah, definitely to try and just be a bit more open with certain things.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Russ, that I totally agree with you. I think men, we've been raised to be men, like to be, no show emotions, no show being vulnerable. That's very strong man that cannot cry, cannot show emotion, cannot talk about anything. And I think, I think nowadays with social media and people like you, coaches and in fitness, I think they talk a lot about that. And they say that, it's so beautiful to see a man crying. It's so free. Even ourselves, when you cry, when you're like, my God, it's such a free thing. As they say, sometimes I heard once that asking for help, it's a big sign of being strong. And it's so true, because you know what I mean? I think sometimes we feel it's normal. Our tendency is to keep things on, you know what I mean? And say, oh, no, I can manage that. I'm okay. I'm feeling fine. But actually, if you're not feeling well, just say it. I think it's you're going to feel much better about it, and I think we need to break the stigma about men being strong and just keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And, I think the days of, I'd like to think things are getting better now as time moves on, but we were very kept ourselves to ourselves and try not to open up too much. But I definitely feel there's a bit of a change in culture now, and things moving forward for the better. But unfortunately, there are still cases where that's not always the sense. But yeah, definitely things are moving in the right direction, and hopefully that resonates with a few individuals as well.
For sure. Next question, ready?
Go for it.
Let's do it. Next one.
Quality.
Next question is, if you could be a character in a movie, who that would be and why?
Oh, that's a good one. I am going to say Hercules.
Wow. Tell me why.
Yeah. I remember watching that film growing up, and just kind of watching how he come from, a scrawny boy, and, he turns into Hercules and he's lifting stones and he's riding a stallion. And I don't know, that film was always kind of stuck in my mind, and I thought it was a pretty cool film. Yeah, so Hercules from the good old classic Disney.
Wow. And when you think about your childhood memories, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
I'll be honest with you, I don't have a great deal. I don't know if I just choose not to remember them, but growing up was quite tough. It was just me and my mum, and good memories with my mum. There was always good memories with my mum. I used to like basic things like sit in front of the TV on a Saturday night, stick on Bruce's Price is Right, and eat Chinese at the dinner table. Simple things like that certainly made me happy. But yeah, other than that, it was quite tough.
And besides your wife, your mom is the closest person in your life?
Yeah, I try to be as close as I can to my family. So I currently live in Portsmouth. That's where I'm based. My mum, my stepdad, and my half brother all reside in Essex, and then my dad and my stepmom reside in Suffolk. So a bit not too far away. So when we go back and visit, it's not too bad. But yeah, I'd say I'm certainly closer to my mum than what I was my dad.
I see. Okay, so your mom is watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send her a message. What would you say?
Mumsy, thank you for everything you've done for me when I was growing up. It means a lot. I like to think I've grown up into a handsome man. And just remember, I always give the best hug bear hugs. Much love.
Goosebump again.
Good.
I love it. I think our connection with our mom, my mom is back in Brazil, and I think, it's interesting. Sometimes when I find myself, in a lonely place or feeling lonely or melancholic for some reason, you have those moments. And sometimes I think about my mom, and I just remember, my God, we have great people around us. I have great friends. I have great, people that I love a lot. But I know that my mom is the person. Once she told me, said, my son, I think about you every single day, at least one point in my day. And I kept that in my mind, since I left Brazil, I was 19, I was very young. And I remember she told me once that, and I kept that in my mind. So sometimes when I feel lonely for some reason, I go like, you know what? My mom is thinking about me, or she thought about me today. So it somehow warms my heart. So I get your point. I think our connection for our mom, it's something unique that we cannot explain. Get your point.
Yeah, Joe, I love that. Yeah, the thought that you said there, that every day that one thought, man, that's going to stay with me. I really like that.
It's amazing because sometimes we find ourselves in a place that you feel lonely or for some reason. It's not wrong with that. I think we have phases, and it's part of growing up and make ourselves a better person. However, when she said that, I always think about that. Okay, I can be lonely now, I can be sad, but however, I know my mom is thinking about me, or she thought about me, or she'll think about me today. So it's something that warms my heart. I'll never forget.
No, nice, man.
3 questions left. Let's do it. Okay. Next question is, what's one food you could eat for the rest of your life?
It's frustrating because I love food so much. Ice cream.
Any flavor or any ice cream?
Chuck them all in a bowl and eat it. As I said before, going for like the weight cut and stuff like that, I'm quite restricted with what foods I can and can't eat. So the days that I can enjoy food, ice cream is definitely up there. Shout out to Dairy Queen in Canada. I'm not trying to promote them in any way.
Of course you can.
But yeah, Dairy Queen do the best blizzards. I had a few of those when I was out in Canada. And ice cream cake as well. Ice cream cake is flame.
Interesting. I never seen it before. Wow. Yeah. You know what? My guilty pleasure, those Haagen-Dazs, these pots, salted caramel. It's my favorite. If I start eating, trust me, I cannot finish until I finish the whole pot.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure for sure.
I'm the same with Ben and Jerry's. Once the tub's open, the whole thing's going.
And do you like cooking?
Joe, I do, but I don't cook as much as I used to. I had to learn to cook myself, obviously joining the forces. But my wife is a much, much better cook than I am. So therefore she decides to do the cooking, and I'm happy to do the cleanup. So she certainly found the way to my heart for the love of food.
And of course, for you to be in your fitness journey, if your job as well is your full-time job, you kind of, your diet has always been very restricted, or do you have some days that you just can, go to your ice creams and have those days where you can indulge yourself, or it's very strict, your diet?
In the last 8 months, it's been a bit more restricted, but only in the time leading up to competition. So on the day of competition, I have to make sure I'm at that certain weight.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I've weighed in, that's fantastic. I can then lift. I then get a period of time after that where I can indulge on the things that I haven't been able to eat and have a bit more free flowing of eating. But I always overeat and I end up making myself sick. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be a bit bad. I've got one more competition, important competition this year, which is in September in Las Vegas. And then once that's done, I don't have to be 65 kilos anymore, so I can eat a bit more food.
And there is something that you need to eat quite often, that somehow you got sick of it, or somehow, just because you need to eat a lot, you don't feel like it anymore. There is something that it's good for you.
Do you know what? No, I think I've been quite clever in. I eat the same things pretty much day in, day out.
Yeah.
But the things that I've made taste good. There's lots of flavour, so it doesn't then prevents me from then going off track and finding my sweet tooth is definitely my kryptonite, and I think that as long as I can find a healthier version to still get my fix, which I have, then I won't go off track. So I wouldn't say I've really got sick of a food. I just maybe every 3 to 4 weeks I might change maybe 1 or 2 of the meals just to keep myself ticking over.
I see. Amazing. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, people watching this interview right now, maybe they would like to start a journey in the fitness. They would like to start a competition like you did, or anything that they're holding them back for some reason. What would be the best piece of advice for those people?
What is your goal? Fitness is such a broad subject.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different elements of it. What do you want your goal to be? Do you want it to be a transition where you can see physical results? Do you want to do it purely for health benefits? Do you want to do it so you can still chase your kids around the garden and, in 10, 15 years time? Are you doing it purely on a mental health basis? So there's all these different avenues that you could go into in the realm of fitness. I suppose I would say find what you want to do and then find a routine that works for you and then just stick to it. Try not to make it too difficult that after 5 or 6 weeks that you're going to make a mistake and undo all the hard work that you've done. It needs to be something that is sustainable and doesn't impact your life too much negatively.
Question for you, Russ. Of course, you've got your job in the army, you got your competitions, but are you planning in the future maybe to become a personal coach or a fitness coach, or something that you don't think about that?
So I'm already in that process. I currently work alongside British weightlifting. I hold my weightlifting qualifications, strength and conditioning qualifications, and I currently deliver level 1, level 2 weightlifting courses on behalf of British weightlifting. So I've started that journey now, and yeah, hopefully continue, because I'm not going to be lifting heavy circles above my head for too much longer. This old man body can't keep up anymore.
Okay. Next question is, what's your funniest memory of your time at school?
Ooh, okay.
Did you like school growing up?
I did, but I was a rebel. There are a lot of stories. A funny story. Okay. I would say I was late for assembly one day. It was raining and I ran from outside while my shoes were absolutely soaked. And you run through the main reception and the main hall was to the right-hand side. As I've ran in, everyone's heard the doors open right up, and my seat was near to the front. So I've opened the door, I've kind of snuck around the back, and I've tried to dart down to the front without being seen, only for my shoes to be really wet and my trousers dripping water, that I slipped in front of everyone straight onto my back, and then that soon turns everyone's heads around and started laughing at me. So that was funny for them, probably not so much funny for me, but looking back on it, it was definitely funny.
And who was your favorite teacher when you think about your time at school?
I would say my PE teacher, Mr. Hickey. I liked playing rugby growing up. I'd done a bit of rugby at school. And yeah, he helped me on my little rugby journey that I went on for a couple of years, and we kind of got to hang out a little bit. So yeah, Mr. Hickey, big shout out to him if he ever sees this video.
Amazing. Very good. Last question. Ready?
Go for it.
Let's do it. Last one. Okay, so before the last question, tell me what fitness has taught you so far in your life?
To trust the process. You're never gonna get a quick fix for what you want. And if you do get a quick fix, I can guarantee you it won't be sustainable. So just trust the process and be consistent and stick to what your plan is, and then you'll start to see results.
Beautiful. Last question is, describe yourself in 3 words.
Determined, focused, and short. I'm only 5'5", so that's in there.
Tell me something. When you, what's the biggest joy of being Russ? What do you like the most about being you?
I like to think I'm fun to be around. I use my army weightlifting friends as an example. You know, I like to think that we're a good laugh. I've got a good friend called Alex, and we always get together on these training days, and you know, we've got great joining personalities where we just bounce off each other. And I feel that sometimes I might not always be that person around other people, but yeah, I think I'd like to be. I'm a bit of a joy to be around, and you know, can be a bit of a comedian sometimes when I need to be.
What's your star sign astrology?
Say again, sorry.
What's your star sign astrology?
I'm a Libra. October. Libra.
So you're October?
October, yeah.
Which day?
5th.
Okay, my dad's, it's the 8th, and one of my best friends as well is the 8th, so maybe...
Nice.
Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to say some words, just have one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Go for it.
Let's start with money.
Oh, watches.
Good one. Fear.
Snakes.
Family.
Love.
Life.
Challenging.
Religion.
Confusing.
Love.
Strong.
Politics.
Confusing.
Sex.
Enjoyable.
Friendship.
Is a must.
Desire.
Oh. No, I can't give you one for that one. It's gone blank.
Okay. Regret.
What are we going one word for this? Yeah.
One word.
One word. I cannot be two. Don't ask.
Of course, you can, it's fine. You say don't ask. That's the okay.
Yeah.
Success.
Ooh. Work.
Wish.
Success.
Happiness.
Family.
I just realized now that I didn't ask. I got so into the conversation in the beginning about your career, and I forgot to ask where's about in England you're based.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Essex, and I currently reside now in Portsmouth.
Actually, I've been there in Portsmouth. I've been there once.
It's a beautiful place. Very, very nice being close to the beach. So I walk out of my house and I'm like 2 minutes away from the beach, which is great for, you know, the dog who's sat behind me here. And, you know, the kids love it as well. And yeah, it's great in the summertime, not so great in the wintertime. You know, we hit the winds from the sea.
So one word for Portsmouth.
Condense.
One word for England.
Crazy.
One word for fitness.
Focus.
One word for the army.
Changing.
And the last one now, weightlifting, one word.
Love.
Amazing, amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your wife for a coffee and I'm going to ask her, define Russ in one positive and one negative word only. What should say about you?
Good question. I'd say, yeah, determined for the positive, stubborn for the second.
Right. If I would have the same question to your best friend, would be the same answer?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I'm trying to think what would he say, and yeah, I think so. That would be the same one.
Amazing. Let's play now Russ in the matchbox, and you can ask me a question.
I'm actually looking forward to watching this back and hearing the music because it was actually going to change my question. I've got a question in mind, but I'm going to ask you this question first anyway. Is there actually any music, or are you just dancing for the fun of it?
Okay. I can show you now. Yes, my thing is playing here, and I just...
it is.
You cannot...
No, I can't see it very well. I was just thinking, I don't know, is he playing music or is he not?
It is, absolutely. I do, because the thing for me is I love music, and music for me, it brings the best energy of me. And I tend to put different music that, for example, this music I'm playing right now, it brings me to my childhood memories. And
right.
I love those vibes, you know, and it brings the greats of me. So trust me, I've done already over 1,500 interviews, and there was just one day that I didn't have the music on because I had a problem in the computer. There was something that I couldn't do, and I need to pretend, and it was so strange for me to play, you know, to do the dance without the music.
Yeah.
So I put myself in my guest shoes because they don't hear the music properly. So yes, back to your question. Yes, I always play a music, even though my guests cannot hear it, but I always play a music for sure.
Good, I love that. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to hearing it when we get to watch this back. So yeah. Can I give you my actual question?
Of course, absolutely, of course.
So you say that you've interviewed over, near around 1,500 people. That's amazing, by the way. I've watched a few of your interviews back, and I think it's absolutely fantastic what you do. It's something that's fun. It's certainly something that I haven't been exposed to. I can only imagine that you've met such a variety of people across the world, which is awesome. So I suppose my question to you would be, if you was going to be interviewed, which celebrity would you want to interview you, and why?
Okay, before I answer the question, I must tell you, I had here, of course, I answered over 1,500 questions on the show. If I'm not wrong, nobody asked me this question before. Wow.
Love it. Good.
You see, well done. Of course, they asked me different questions like celebrity, but not this way. And I love it. You put me in the spot, and I love that. Okay, so celebrity to interview me on the show. Wow, what a great question. My God, so many people cross my mind right now. Right. My God.
It's good now to see it on the opposite foot. See, interviews that I thought, there might be a few questions that might trip me up today, and there was a few I had to think about. So it's good to see that asking questions on the opposite foot has the same effect.
You put me right in the spot. I'll tell. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. There are so many people that I would love to, to be. By the way, when the show turned 1 year, a friend of mine who actually he's from Vienna, and when I had the idea, I approached him online on social media because he worked on TV. And actually, so I told him about the idea. He said, "Oh, it's a good idea. It's a great idea." He gave some support, and actually he is the one who suggested the name William the Magic Box. Because, fun fact, when I started doing the show, the first idea for the name of the show was Anonymous Stars. That was my first idea, because we are anonymous, all of us, we are anonymous, but however, we are stars because we have a story to tell. So that was my first. And when I started talking to him, he said, "Willie, why don't you put Willie in the Magic Box? You have a magic box, you have the questions, your name is going to be connected to the show." And I was like, I didn't think about that. Anyway, so when I turned 1 year in the show, I asked him to interview me, and he did. It was an amazing interview. But a celebrity one, I have the answer for you now. When I arrived in London, in England, one of the first shows that somehow, I'm an early bird, by the way, I love waking up very early. And I remember watching Breakfast, the show Breakfast every morning.
Yeah.
And I got used to watch every morning, like briefly. Yeah, it was even good for me to learn more English, to get more, the British accent. And there is one of the, actually there are two now, because they changed a lot, some of the presenters, but there are two of them now. I don't remember their names, but I would be happy if one of them, like one of the presenters from BBC The Breakfast, I just hope the interview get to them somehow. Maybe they're going to interview me one day. Anyway, so I would love one of them to be the other side to interview me on the show, because I always been a big fan of the show, because they show varieties, they show what's happening in the world, they do like things what's happening in the world, and I always like that. So when I start my day, sometime if I'm doing something, I just like to watch for a little bit, just to see or to listen to it. And yes, so answer to your question, any presenter for the breakfast show, I would love to have them on the show here, interview me. And I think for me it would be something that I'll be nervous, because I always watch them, and also they are very capable for that. The way they are journalists, they are presenters, they are there doing a good job that people love watching it every morning. So I think, I love the question. One of the breakfast entertainers in the show, I'd love one of them to interview me one day. You see, and if it happens, I'll talk about you, because you asked me this question.
Yeah. You know what? I hope that someday you get that opportunity.
For sure. I can wait one day to be able to have those, those people that I always admire here on the show, and for sure one day it's going to happen, for sure.
Yeah, I've got so many more questions I'd love to ask you, but I know that you're short of time, because I'm super interested about, one, with what you're doing, and I think it's a great concept, buddy. So just keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing more and more, and hopefully you do get that opportunity to.
Thank you so much.
Show, buddy.
Thanks so much, Russ. I think I'm the thankful one here. I think people nowadays, we are so busy with our own lives. And when someone take their time for us, I think it's precious, because, as you know, we are so busy with our lives, and I think it's amazing. So thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks for being so kind. And I said, you're very sweet when I approach you online. And I think that's the power of saying yes can take you in different directions. And I think it's amazing. You just made memories right now. Imagine 10 years time, watch this interview. And I think it's great. So thanks again. Thanks for being so kind and being open as well, talking about your fitness journey. I think it's very inspiring. And I think nowadays people, they are more aware of it. And as you said, not just for the physical, but for the mental health as well. I think it's a good start for us to, when you feel sad or melancholic, just go for a run, just a simple run in the park. And trust me, after 10 minutes, you're going to refresh a little bit your mind, and you're going to put you in a better place. And people like you as well, spreading this passion about sports, about fitness. It's great to see. I love to go on social media and see those people expressing themselves through something that they have a passion about it. So thanks again.
No, well, thank you so much for having me, and certainly learned a lot about myself today, and had my mind ticking over, so I really appreciate that.
Amazing. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Be yourself. Don't allow social media to change your thought process on how you need to be going through life. Not everything you see on social media is true. Stick to your own journey and be proud of who you are.
Amazing. Very good. Very good. Amazing. Thanks again. Regards to your wife, to your mom, to your family and friends, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Okay. Take care.
It's been an absolute star, mate. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Take
Cheers,
care.
buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.